is new product time, Lady.
I'm ready for new products. Do the new product song.
New product song. It's not done yet. Okay, these are just new photos. We wanted to show these. John Jr. took some amazing photos, and they're slightly updated.
This is the iCufflinks. We now have the bodies a little bit smaller. It's thinner to match the body of the iNecklace. Same electronics, same awesome glowing functionality. Also, we got some awesome new photos taken.
Yeah.
And also, you get 4 cufflinks. Make sure you get 2. Yeah. We also have this really nice photo of potentiometer. I just love this because this is like a basic potentiometer. But
yeah, we're retaking many of the photos. So this is updated photo, and another updated photo.
I just love the contrast on these.
Yeah.
It's so sharp.
Next up.
Arduino badge. It is official.
It is here. This is their official Arduino skill badge. We worked with the Arduino team. This one took a while to do.
We asked for 3 years.
We asked and asked and asked, and they said yes, but it's just always hard because there are lots of different people around the world. But we finally got all the approvals. We finally got everything taken care of. The badge is beautiful. It looks great. Perfect for workshops. Hackerspaces, makerspaces, schools, whatever you want to do to award people for learning stuff about Arduino.
Yeah.
This is a fun skill badge, and we give money. Every badge purchase, we give Arduino money. They continue to do one of the coolest open source hardware efforts and projects out there in the world that I think a lot of people got their start doing electronics with an Arduino. Next up.
Okay, finally, I get to talk. This is the LED beginner sewing kit that Becky put together. So this is a sewing kit that is really great if you want to learn how to do like e-textile or wearable work, but you're like, well, I don't want to get into microcontroller programming. I don't even really want to do any soldering at all. This is a totally solderless kit. It comes with everything you need except scissors. So you get needles, you get a really awesome stainless thread, you get 2 sewable battery holders, you get 2 batteries, you get 4 of these like LED candle flicker LEDs, which you can see. You get 4 snaps, and the snaps can be used for all sorts of stuff, but we like to use them as like a battery connector sometimes. You can use them as switches. And here's the bow that you make 2 bows out of this project. You have plenty of thread left over, so you can also just buy more LEDs, more batteries, more battery holders, and make even more projects. So this is a cute little kit. We tried to make it as basic as possible, but also allow you to do a project or 2 with this kit. I like it.
Okay, and then next up, the big news for the week, and we're just going to show some photos. We now sell MakerBot Replicator 2s. So these are some of the photos that MakerBot has for us to put on our site. These are all the things that you can print on it. It is, if you look at Make's 3D printer roundup, the Replicator 2, they considered it the best value, the best of class, the best, pretty much the best of everything. Make has a fantastic guide for 3D printing. If you're thinking about getting a 3D printer, get the Make guide for 3D printing because it has everything in there. It's kind of like a buyer's guide of which one to get. And so one of the reasons that we wanted to do this, one, we know Bree, and we thought this was a neat experiment to do between 2 fun companies. Here's some other stuff that it can print out. MakerBot is in the news a lot. Probably doesn't require any explanation for people out there, but it's a PLA printer, prints out with plastic. And here's all the different pieces. Now, the Adafruit edition, I'll tell you the things about it because you're probably saying, well, this is just like a MakerBot. So it comes in its own Adafruit MakerBot box. It's our partnership, this idea that you have a special limited edition. We think that's neat. Maybe we'll do a partnership with another 3D printing company. Maybe MakerBot will do a special promotion with another company. And each time they do that, we'll all add our value into each one. So what comes with the MakerBot Adafruit edition is a 3D printing electronics pack. So it comes with all the stuff that you can print out that's a kit. So what we included inside there was a Times Square watch, a Raspberry Pi, and a Minty Boost, and also the files that you need. So it's usually, there's 2 things that are really hard to get right now, Raspberry Pi and a MakerBot. So you could potentially get both in one shot.
And an SD card with some files on it.
Yeah, and the other neat thing is this is the special build plate that has the MakerBot and the Adafruit logos. So The neat thing about this is the limited edition part. We have no idea. This is an experiment. We put 10 in the store, and when we started the show tonight, there was only 3 left. So we'll see. If you could, I'm going to go to the overhead real quick.
Yeah.
If you could, oops, that's not the overhead. When that happens. If you can go to the overhead, here are some of the things that can be printed out. This is the Times Square watch.
This is an enclosure for the watch.
Yeah, and then these are all made by the community, which was pretty neat. So we worked with all of them. And then here's a Minty Boost. This is with the green plastic, but this is a Minty Boost with a little slider case. You can see that the Minty Boost fits inside here. The battery's inside there. So we have a special case here. And then we also have this is another thing you can print. This is the this is the giant. Yeah, this is a thing that you can use to store all of your electronic projects. This is all printed on a MakerBot. So Raspberry Pi, Arduino fits in here. All these things.
This is the Arduino slot. I don't know how this works exactly.
Yeah, and these are all the things that you need to get going. And then here's some of the other stuff that we were printing out just for fun. This is just a fun little thing that you can get off Thingiverse. And then that's it.
Anything else?
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, those are the things that you can.
So you build a kit, and then you print out the case or an add-on, so you get like double the fun.
Well, this was a response to what we saw. People, they had a 3D printer at a hackerspace. They would get a Minty Boost or a Times Square watch, and while they were soldering it, they wanted to make an enclosure printout for it. So you can get one of these MakerBots, and then while you're soldering together your watch, the enclosure for it is printing out.
Yeah.
What a crazy new world where you can get a machine, solder up your own watch, and print out your own enclosure, and do all the hacks, mods, and tweaks. So that's pretty good.
Okay, so we've got a couple of these, and pick one up if you.
Yeah, and we'll see. We might continue doing this. This is an experiment. So
now we got 10 to start.
Yeah, we're in the 3D printed biz. Okay, next up.
Next up, we have some awesome non-3D printer, but stuff that you can make 3D printers with. This is a motor mount. So we have a stepper motor in the store, which is really great, but unfortunately, it's not terribly easy to attach to a CNC robot. So what we did is we got this really cool, like bent metal. Can you go
Oh, sure.
Bent metal and then welded with welded corners motor mount, and it's pretty easy to use. There are these slots on the bottom which you can use to attach to whatever 30 millimeters apart. And then over here, there's the face plate on the side. It's welded, so it's really strong. And then your motor just sort of snaps in place, and then you can use the 4 screw holes and you screw it in. It's a standard, sizing. So any NEMA 17 motor will work just fine. Just make sure you look at the data sheet, make sure the spacing of the holes is right. It comes with a bag of hardware, so you can screw it in. I'm not going to do that because it'll take some time. And then you basically have a motor mount that you can attach anyway, and it's exactly 90 degrees, so you can easily attach a motor to something. Great for a CNC robot or project.
Yeah, and again, here's some great photos from John Janier. Shows all these great angles and
yeah, you just really see the project.
Yeah, and we're getting into more and more robotic, mechanical stuff. Okay, next up.
Next up we have a soil sensor. This is an interesting sensor. We already had an SHT, like a sensor on humidity and temperature sensor. What this device does is it takes that sensor that was that we have a breakout for, and it puts it into a sintered metal enclosure. That's like kind of the sparkly looking thing at the end, and it's a fully watertight, weatherproof enclosure. So what you can do is I'm going to open this up, but just to show it off. But there's the SHT sensor itself. There's a capacitor, and it's covered in sort of everything except the very port of the sensor that's used for humidity sensor is covered with conformal coat. And then this material blocks water, but it allows air to go through. So it's, it's a mesh, so it's not airtight, but it is watertight. I wouldn't keep this in soaking water, dunk it into a water bucket for more than an hour. But if you're using it outside, you don't have to worry about when you water your plants, or the whatever watering system you use turns on. This will get wet. It's fine. It's meant to go to the ground, and then you can use it to measure the temperature and humidity or wetness of the soil. So that is really cool as we're getting into spring and people are starting to do more projects with gardening.
Yeah, and can you reuse this over and over?
Yeah, you can use it as many times as you want. It's got 4 pins on the end, power and ground, data and clock, and we included also a pull-up resistor you'll need. It uses because it's just a breakout for the sensor inside. Any code that works for the SHT sensors will work just fine. I just used an Arduino example and it worked out of the box.
Okay, great.
Handy.
Next up.
VGA cable. I didn't bring a demo of this. This is a VGA cable.
It is a VGA cable.
1.5 meters long VGA cable. We have a couple things that use VGA in the store. We thought we'd add a cable in. Not a lot going on there.
Specifically made in Adafruit black.
Yeah, I did struggle to write the copy for this because I'm like, it's a VGA cable.
Okay.
That's all I have to say.
Next up.
This is a dual extrusion. We've already put the extrusion in stock that's 20 millimeter by 20 millimeter. This is twice as thick, but the same height. I didn't bring one out because it's just basically exactly the same as the photos. There's not a lot to show. It uses the same channel system. Pretty much all the accessories that work with our 20 millimeter extrusion work with this. This is just a little bit stronger. It's also a little bit wider, which might be good if you need certain stability. I don't know, it's a good addition. So, we have both in stock right now, so depending on your project, if you need a lot of structure, use the 20 by 40.
Okay, next up. Now this is kind of a big deal for us.
I'm kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
No, sorry, this display is kind of a big deal.
But you are a big deal, Lydia. This is a big deal for us because we're going into some interesting new markets. So I'm going to leave it on here, and why don't you explain what this is?
This is interesting. This is a pixel key display. And I'm gonna say pixel key, even though I'm sure there's a proper pronunciation for the key. Maybe it's chi. I don't know. Anyways, I wouldn't call it pixel key. It's a pixel key display, and these are very interesting displays. These displays were designed by Mary Jo Jepson, who worked on the OLPC project, the One Laptop per Child. And these displays, they had a problem with the laptops. It was the laptops were either you couldn't use them outdoors, because people who would be using these laptops would be outdoors and it would be sunlight and the sun is too bright. As you know, it's really hard to use a laptop or even a tablet. Maybe the most newest tablets that with all the power on, you can read outside high brightness, but it's really hard on your eyes. And so she came up with this interesting technology, and it's a 2-layer LCD TFT. One layer is color, and it's a normal TFT, so when you use it, it's color. This is photo, and we'll also show it live on the overhead. It's a full color display, and it basically just works like any 10-inch laptop display. And then there's another layer underneath, which is a grayscale layer. And unfortunately, we didn't get a photo of the grayscale layer because it's actually really hard to photograph, because we have to have light. You have to have daylight brightness light coming down, but it automatically switches into this grayscale mode, so you can see in daylight grayscale, and it looks transflective, so it's basically like e-paper. It uses the sunlight to bounce off and back into your eyes rather than the light from the backlight. If you want to see pictures of what this looks like, check out the Pixel Key website, because they've got really good photos of it. Meanwhile, we're trying to get pictures in our photo studio, which does not have a sun in it quite yet. We have to make sun simulation. But I can demo it in color, so let's go to the overhead. And I have it connected up to a Raspberry Pi, and I'm just going to show the display. It's just a raw display, and you can see here.
Is this the first time that someone's hooked it up to Raspberry Pi and showed this? And because I've never seen one hooked up to a Raspberry Pi before.
Maybe, probably this is the only time.
Yeah.
It's from Pixel Key. It's the PQ3Q1, and we have a data sheet on the page if you want more details. It's got a 3.3 volt LVDS connector, which means you can actually just plug this into most laptops. Most laptops that have a LVDS cable, which is like almost all laptops and tablets. But for the people who are using it, we think we want to make it really easy. So we included a LVDS driver board. And this driver board is specifically for driving an LVDS panel, and we got a matching cable. And it's got 3 different inputs. It's got composite, which is NTSC or PAL, VGA, and HDMI. So you can use either of those. You can do NTSC, PAL, HDMI, VGA, any of those will work just fine. The screen is 1024 by 600, which unfortunately is not supported natively by the Raspberry Pi hardware, so that's why you see a border around the edge, or a darker border. And there's also a menu system. You can, do stuff, change the position, you can, whatever, change the blue screen, the display ratio, sharpness, modes, all sorts of, stuff you're used to with an LCD. You get a little keypad, or you can remove the keypad if you don't want. It's an interesting screen. I think what's interesting about it is, if you remove the backlight, I don't think this is going to work, but I can try. If you remove the backlight, it'll turn into a transflective display.
Oh, look at that.
You can kind of see it. Okay, so imagine we aren't like indoors in an office. So it actually becomes a grayscale screen, and it is visible. It's just hard to see in here, but you can see it is visible during the day. And if you have if you invert the display, I think it'll look even better, because it'll be, instead of this black background, it'll have a white background. But in outdoors, it's daylight readable. It's also extremely low power.
Yeah.
So you're not having the backlight on, you can see the grayscale layer. And so it's kind of an interesting way to do an e-paper display while also doing a color display at the same time. So this is a very revolutionary technology, because these days, either you have a color screen, which is what normally we have on a laptop, or you have an e-paper screen. But the e-paper screens are slow, and they can't do video, or you have a transflective display, but usually, those aren't even really available. Those are really old, these old grayscale. They're usually, they can't do color. They're either, you can do grayscale, you can do color, you can do both, but the screen does both. So it's interesting, and it's an interesting new technology, and I thought it'd be really cool to have in the store. You don't have to use it with a Raspberry Pi. You can use it with any computer that has NTSC, VGA, or HDMI out. So you can use it with a microcontroller, if it a parallax propeller.
Yeah, we took care of the hard part, which is we figured out how to get it to work with all these different things.
Yeah.
So out of the box, you get the power supply, the driver board, and the display.
Yeah, and it's all tested. It works really good, and it's very easy to use.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the cool projects, because you'll have something like a low-cost Raspberry Pi, and then you can have an outdoor display. Yeah. So you could. It's interesting. You could build your own indoor-outdoor e-ink reader. Yeah. If you don't want to do the Kindle thing, you can. It's kind of it's open. It's close as you can get probably to an open source. E-ink reader. So.
Anyways, this is cool stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll turn the backlight back now by plugging it in.
Next up, this is an updated product.
Oh, this is the DSO Nano V3. The V3 adds a new case. It's now a metal case. That's pretty much the only difference. It's the same firmware, just the case is redesigned. It looks much better. You can still use any old firmware you have. Same hardware design on the inside.
All right, and next up, this is my favorite product of the week, and one of my favorite products that you've come up with.
Really?
Yeah, it is. Okay. It's really clever. So what is this?
Okay, hold on. Let me turn off my Pi here so it's not distracting. Hi, Pi. So this is a very, very small LiPo charger. I actually wanted something that I could put in my toolkit and carry around with me all the time. And the other LiPo chargers we have all need a cable. They need a DC power plug, or they need a mini USB cable or micro USB cable. And I was like, well, I want to make something that's really, really simple. And I want to use this very simple chip from Microchip that does LiPo charging. They make really excellent LiPo chargers. I love them. And what's cool is it's only a 5-pin chip, but it has it's a full LiPo charger. And it also has 2 LED output. You can have red and green LEDs, and I think I can even show it on the overhead when we're ready. And the neat thing is that I made it completely cableless, because the thickness of the PCB is a little thicker than normal, and then there's these gold-plated pads that are just like a USB plug, and you can see the circuitry here, and you can plug your LiPo battery in here. And then for this demo, when I plug it in, it'll the red LED is on because it's charging, and then in a minute or so it'll turn green because it's done charging, because it's mostly fully charged. By default, it charges at 100 milliamps, which is good for any USB port. Every USB port can do at least 100 milliamps. Many can do more, but in case you're plugging into like a keyboard hub or something, you can at least get 100 milliamps. Also good for small batteries. Small batteries, you don't want to charge them at faster than 100 milliamps because they are small. You know, if they're less than 500 milliamp hours. But if you want, you can set it to be 500 milliamp hours by shorting a little jumper on the back.
Cool.
So it makes it easy.
Yeah.
So now you can see it is charged, it's green, means it's ready to go. You can unplug it, you can unplug your battery, and it's ready to go. Super easy. It's like the easiest battery charger in the world. Like there's like nothing that could possibly go wrong here.
I really like it. It's super clever, super convenient. Always keep one in your bag for charging and having with you. So, okay. And with that, we are done with new products. So this is a big new products day.
Yes.